Hey guys, if you just got your hands on the Insta360 Luna Ultra, you've come to the right place. The Insta360 Luna Ultra is a new 8K gimbal camera, and this camera is perfect for solo filmmaking and also just for creative shots when you really want to intentionally film. So in this beginner's guide, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to get out there and start filming with it. Throughout this video, I'll show you some beautiful videos and photos that I've taken with this camera just to get you inspired about what kind of shots you can actually capture with the Luna Ultra. I'm going to show you all the steps from setting up all the way through transferring your footage, and I'll make it nice and clear and logical for you guys so it's easy to understand. So let's get started with the first step, which is setting up your camera. First things first, let's get the camera out of the box so I can show you what comes in the kit. I'm going to be unboxing the creator combo here, but I'll also show you what comes in the basic combo for the Luna Ultra. This one just has a few extra accessories that I'll show you guys. So go ahead and open up the box and pull out the Luna Ultra. I think it's best if you just pull out everything and lay it out on the table so you can look at it while I show you. Here are the items that come in the basic combo. This is the Insta360 Luna Ultra, and you've got this nice protective cover here, which is really important for keeping that camera safe. It's really easy to open up this case. You just press right here and it flips open, and then you can pull out the Luna Ultra. Here you have a USB-C cable for charging your camera. There's also this 1/4 inch thread handle, so it actually extends the length of the handle a little bit to make it easier to hold, and also it makes it mountable. But I'll show you guys some mounting ideas when we talk about mounting the Luna Ultra. And there's also this wrist strap here that can be attached to the Luna Ultra. If you got the creator kit, there's also these extra items here. So you'll see this nice carry bag, which is really nice for storing Luna Ultra and its accessories. It also comes with this power grip that, besides having extra battery for your camera, it's also a little bit longer than that other handle, which makes it a little easier to hold the Luna Ultra. Then there's also this extra little wide angle lens that just snaps right on the front of Luna Ultra. It's really easy to put on there magnetically. That's going to give you a wider field of view, but I'll show you that when we go through the camera tour. The creator kit also comes with this extra audio accessory, which is the Insta360 Mic Pro. It's got this windshield, the Insta360 Mic Pro transmitter, a magnetic clip, and also this clip, depending on how you want to attach the Mic Pro to your shirt. Now that you have the Luna Ultra unboxed, I want to show you some of the key features of the Luna Ultra, just so you can get excited and inspired about what you can create with this camera. So Luna Ultra is an 8K mechanical gimbal camera with dual lenses. So as you rotate the camera, those lenses are going to stay level, allowing for some very cinematic creative shots. It's got impressive autofocus that allows you to blur out the background or focus on your subject. Plus, it's got great deep tracking, so you can track your subject no matter where they go and keep them in the frame. This is really powerful for solo filmmaking. Luna Ultra can record stunning 10-bit color videos in daylight or night. Plus, it can take beautiful photos and even a 200 megapixel panoramic photo that's pretty fun to play with. It's also got this detachable mic, so you can remove this from the camera and actually use this little mic right here, as well as a screen, to preview your shots and still get clear audio. That allows you remote control of your camera. Plus, like any vlogging camera should have, it's got great built-in audio with a windproof microphone and the capability of connecting it to that Insta360 Mic Pro like I showed you guys. There's lots of great features packed in here, and I'm excited to show you everything it can do when we go through the camera tour. But right now, let's get the camera set up so it's ready to use. Also, if you are enjoying this video so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can be the first to know about all of my videos and tutorials for the Luna Ultra. Now let's continue on. There's just a few quick easy steps to get Luna Ultra ready to use. So just go ahead and open up Luna Ultra and get it out of the case here. You can remove this little sticker here that shows you what the controls are on the touchscreen, because I'll show you those when we do the camera tour. Luna Ultra does come with 47 gigabytes of built-in storage, so you don't have to use a microSD card. But if you want to add extra storage, you can insert a microSD card into this slot right here. Just push it down into place and then put back in that little rubber cover. Now let's charge Luna Ultra to make sure the battery is nice and full. So you can plug a USB-C cable into the base of the Luna Ultra right here and plug the other end of the USB-C cable into a power supply, such as a wall charger, a power pack, or a computer. Luna Ultra supports quick charging, so if you have a quick charger, I do recommend using that. Also, while the battery is charging, you can press pause, and I'll put up a few of the battery lifetimes here on the screen so you know what to expect when you're out filming. When the battery's finished charging, you can just unplug the USB-C cable and we'll move on. Next, let's power on the camera and go through some setup items. So there's two different ways you can power it on. You can press this little button right here to power it on, or you can just flip this touchscreen and the camera's gonna power on. It's gonna ask you to choose your language, so you can just scroll up or down to select your language and then press next. And now it's gonna prompt you to connect to the Insta360 app to activate your camera and update the firmware. So go ahead and download the Insta360 app if you don't already have it, and follow the prompts to connect your camera. Once your camera is connected the first time, it's gonna show you that there's a firmware update available. So go ahead and follow the prompts to wirelessly update your camera using the Insta360 app. And once that firmware update is complete, the camera is gonna power back on and you can activate your camera, and then it's ready to use. Please press pause on this video while you update the camera's firmware, and when we come back, I'm gonna give you a tour around the camera so you can understand how this works. Also, if you did get the creator kit with this extra wide angle lens, you can store it right here in the case. It just snaps magnetically right in place there, so you can store it there easily. And when you want to put your camera back in the case, you just put it screen side down in the case, just like that, and it stores nice and safely and keeps that gimbal protected. This is a mechanical gimbal on the Luna Ultra, so you don't want to manually force it with your fingers. I'll show you guys when we do the camera tour, the best way is to adjust the angle of this gimbal. Now we get into the really fun stuff, where I get to show you around the camera and show you all of the powerful features here on the Luna Ultra. First, I just want to give you a tour around the actual physical camera body so you understand how this thing works. So this here is the Luna Ultra camera. Right now it's turned off, so the gimbal is being stored in this protective position like this. This here is actually a removable touchscreen and remote control with a built-in mic. To remove that, all you need to do is press these little orange buttons right here and pull forward, and the little mic comes off just like that. And then to reattach the mic, you just slide it up like that and pop it right into place so it locks into place like that. The Luna camera is not waterproof, so you want to make sure you only use it in dry environments and not get it wet. To turn the camera on, you can either press this button here, or like I showed you before, you can just rotate the screen, and that's going to unlock the gimbal. This is a mechanical gimbal that levels the camera as you film. And that's one of the main features here of the Luna Ultra. I'll go through this touchscreen menu in just a minute, but right now I just want to show you the rest of the features. This button is used for powering on and off the camera, or if you press it once, it can start and stop recording videos. This button here is called the joystick, and that can actually change the orientation of where your lenses are pointed. So if you push it to the right, for example, it's going to rotate those lenses just like that. You can also go up or down to adjust the perspective of what your camera is seeing. If you push up on this button, it's going to make the camera point up, and if you push down, it's going to make the camera point down. This here is a zoom slider. So if you push it up, it's going to zoom in, and you're going to get closer to your subject. And if you slide it down, it's going to zoom out and get a more wide angle perspective. There's also these two little buttons on the touchscreen here. This one can be used to flip the camera's orientation. So if you press it, it's going to flip the camera around just like that. Press it again and it'll flip it again. And this one will go into some of the different color profiles, but you can also change the function of these two buttons depending on your tastes. Now I want to give you guys a tour around this touchscreen, because this is where you can tap into all of the features, modes, and settings available on the Luna Ultra. So we'll get into some real good detail about what you can create with this camera. There are a couple ways to power the camera on. I'm just going to flip the screen and go right into a widescreen mode. However, if you want to power on into vertical videos, you can just hold down this button and it's going to go straight into vertical videos. But right now I'm just going to flip the screen and power it on into widescreen video. I'll talk more about that in just a second. And first, let me just show you what's on this screen here, because this is a little indicator of some of the different settings. At the top right here, you have the battery life for both the gimbal and the detachable remote. If you tap on that, it's going to show you the actual percentage for each of these elements. In this corner, you have the amount of storage remaining on the microSD card or the internal storage, whichever one you're using, at the current settings using the current mode. This icon here is for subject tracking, which I'll show you guys in just a minute. The bottom left icon is for the mode that you're currently in. If you tap on that, you can see the different modes available here on Luna Ultra. And I'll also go into those in a minute. You can also access those by just swiping right here on the middle of the screen and go through the different modes. But right now I'm going to go into video mode. At the bottom of the screen here, you have the current settings for the mode you're in. So you can either tap on that to go into those settings, or you can also just pull up from the bottom of the screen. And that's another way to access those. This icon on the bottom right will rotate the gimbal 180 degrees. So if you just tap on that, it's going to rotate the gimbal and then rotate it back around. And this 1x icon here is the amount of zoom that your camera is currently in. Because you have those two lenses here, you can adjust that, and I'll show you how to do that. If you swipe down from the top of the screen, it goes into the dashboard with some general settings. And there's several different screens here, which we'll also go into. And if you swipe from this side of the screen, it's going to go into the current media that's stored on your internal storage or your microSD card. First, let's take a look at video mode, because video mode is probably the main reason that you bought this camera. So just make sure that this icon's showing and that you're in video mode. And first, let's tap on these main settings right here. So if you tap on that, you're going to see the main settings for video mode. The first option you'll see on the top left here is landscape or portrait. So if you tap that, it's going to change the options whether you want to record landscape videos, which are horizontal, portrait videos, which are vertical 9:16 videos, or adaptive, which is going to allow you to rotate the screen and rotate the different aspect ratio. If you choose adaptive or portrait, the camera is not going to power off when you rotate the screen, so you'll have to hold down the power button to turn it off. If you're just shooting horizontal landscape videos, you can keep it on landscape, and then when you rotate the screen, it'll also power off the camera. There's also another aspect ratio setting right here, which is the proportions of your video. Because the screen's in a landscape orientation right now, you're only seeing the horizontal options, so 16:9, 2.35:1, and 1:1 square. If the camera was set to portrait mode or the screen is rotated vertically in the adaptive mode, then you'd see the 9:16 vertical option. But right now I'm just going to use the 16:9 widescreen. And then let's go back into the settings. The next setting is resolution. Now this is the size of the video that you're going to be recording. And the Luna Ultra records in up to 8K video, which is really high resolution video. This is great if you're going to be cropping in on your videos, but you don't usually need 8K video. So most of the time you're going to go with 4K. If you are recording for social media and you want smaller files, you can go all the way down to 1080p here on the Luna Ultra. But I'm just going to go back to 4K for right now, because that's what you would watch usually on a regular YouTube viewer. The next option over is the frame rate. And this is how many frames are recorded per second of video. So this will actually help you determine what kind of slow motion you can film with the Luna Ultra. For example, in 8K, if you record at 30 or 24 frames per second, that's just going to give you regular speed video. You can't play your video back any slower than regular speed and still have it look smooth. However, if you go to 4K video, you'll see there's different frame rate options available, all the way up to 120 frames per second. And because it's recording more frames per second, you can actually space out how long you play that back. It's going to play it back in really smooth, super slow motion. So that's a great setting if you want super slow motion. And if you just want normal, like cinematic slow motion for general filming, 4K 60 is a great one to go with. That's a good setting to start with if you're recording horizontal videos. So I'm just going to swipe out of that menu right now. And then if you swipe over from the side of the screen right here, you've got some different settings available. The first option you'll see here is Beautify. And Beautify actually has some different settings for if you're filming portraits. It can adjust your skin tone or smooth out your face. So if you're shooting portraits, you might want to play with that one. So there's some basic settings, which is just your color profile. So it's got a default color profile, which is just going to give you natural balanced colors. There's also these fun different color filters available. And because Insta360 partners with Leica, you've got some Leica colors here that you can overlay onto your videos right here in the camera. So there's a Leica Natural, there's a Leica Vivid, Leica Chrome. So there's a bunch of different color profiles you can play with to get some really cool looks right out of the camera. I'm going to go out of that menu. And over here you have some Pro settings. So there are more options here. Over here in the Pro, you also have those color profiles. But you also have some different color modes here. So you can tap on that and you'll see there's a standard mode, which is going to be your regular color. There's also Dolby Vision, which is going to give you even crisper shots right out of the camera. And then you've also got iLog. And iLog is going to be a very flat color profile. You'll see there's basically no color here. And this is for those of you who want to color grade your footage and add the colors back in when you're editing. The Luna Ultra records in 10-bit color, so you can get a lot of good colors out of this. I'm going to go back just to standard mode. And then go back to the regular screen here. Then you've got EV comp, you've got a white balance. You also have right here a face priority or a matrix priority metering mode. So that face priority is going to be great if you're filming selfie or vlog shots, because it's going to actually prioritize the lighting on your face and expose for that. Whereas the matrix is going to expose an overall scene, and it's going to be better for scenic shots. And down here are the autofocus settings. Luna Ultra has great autofocus, so you can choose what part of the video or photo you want to have in focus and blur out backgrounds, and you can just get really creative with this autofocus. And there's different options of how you want to set that autofocus. So an AFC is going to be continuously adjusting focus to track moving subjects or to adjust for the scene. When you use AFS, that's actually going to lock the focus on a certain spot. So after you start recording, it's not going to continuously change. This could be good for stationary shots, for example, where you just want to make sure that autofocus stays locked on a certain spot of your image, and that's going to be ideal for that. And then you've also got Product Showcase. Now this is a great feature that I love on some of the more expensive Sony mirrorless cameras, where actually if you hold up a product, it's going to priority focus on that product. This will be great if you're doing YouTube videos, like a lot of the ones I do, where if you hold up your camera, it's going to focus on that instead of on your face. And I think that's a really great feature. I'm happy they added that in here. But right now I'm just going to go back to AFC because that's the most common focus method you're going to use. And this setting is breathing compensation, which is going to be really useful if you're focusing on objects at different distances. It's just going to create a smoother video between those. But for now, I just recommend leaving that off. And this over here is Profile, which allows you to share settings between cameras. So if you want to copy settings from one Luna Ultra to another, all you need to do is tap on this profile here and tap the plus symbol. And now you can scan a QR code that can be created from another Luna Ultra by going to the playback screen and tapping these three dots and going down here to color share. And that can create a QR code that can be scanned to add to another Luna Ultra. This is great if you're filming a project and you want to share the color profiles between two cameras. And then I'm just going to tap this screen to make that go away. Now that you've got your settings chosen, you can choose some of the different features that you might want to use here on the camera. One of them is subject tracking, and that's this little icon right here. So there's a few different ways to track your subject, and the gimbal is actually going to follow your subject around the scene. So this is a great feature to use, especially if you're filming yourself or a subject and you just want the camera to follow them. It's one of the best ways you can take advantage of this gimbal. So there's a few ways to enable tracking here on the Luna Ultra. One of them is to press on this little joystick right here. if you press that down, it's gonna start subject tracking. So it's gonna look for the subject to start tracking. Another way to enable tracking is to tap this little icon right here. That's gonna start auto tracking and look for a subject. So if you press on that and you track your subject, once the subject starts tracking, you can actually see the icon over here changes. And you can actually tap on this icon and change where you want your subject to be positioned in the frame, which is really useful for composing your shots because you don't always want your subject right in the middle of the frame. So you can move the joystick around to these different squares, and it's gonna actually position the subject and keep the subject in that spot. A lot of times you might wanna have your subject higher in the frame, so your subject's face is up here, for example. And you can also fine tune the composition by just moving the joystick. That's gonna also move where your subject is in the frame. And then when you wanna stop tracking, you can just press down on the joystick and it's gonna cancel the tracking. The subject tracking can track a single subject, a group of people, or just an object that you wanna keep in a certain part of your frame. Another setting you'll definitely wanna take advantage of here on the Luna Ultra are the different zoom features. Because the Luna Ultra features 2 different lenses, you can get a variety of focal lengths using these. From all of my testing, the 1x to 6x lenses definitely have the best zoom because those are all lossless, you're not gonna lose quality. Whereas when you get into that 12x zoom, you're gonna definitely notice a reduction in quality in those images. So just depends if it's worth it for you to get closer, but you're not gonna have as crisp and clear of images. When you're at the 1x or the 2x zoom, you're gonna be using that ultra wide angle lens, which is 20mm 1.8 aperture. And that uses a 1-inch 8K sensor. When you go to 3x zoom, that's gonna switch over to the second lens, which is a telephoto lens that's 60mm equivalent, and it's 2.0 aperture. And that uses a slightly smaller 1/1.3-inch sensor. So you'll definitely wanna choose your focal lengths. And as you record, you can also use this zoom slider here, and you can zoom in while you record. Sometimes it's a little hard to get smooth zooming, but you can adjust the speed at which it zooms just like that, and then you can zoom in on your subjects while you film. So that allows a lot of creativity while you're out there filming. However, I typically like to choose my focal length first and just kind of stick with that. One more setting you might want to change before you start recording is how the gimbal operates. So you can just swipe down from the top of the screen here and go into the gimbal modes. And you'll see there's a variety of gimbal modes available here on the screen. Right now you can see it's on roll and tilt lock. So it's basically going to lock the camera level, even if you go up or down or sideways. Then there's also roll lock over here, where it's gonna lock the camera so it doesn't rotate sideways, but you can still tilt the camera, which is looking up or down. This is gonna allow a lot more creative flexibility and smooth tilt shots where you wanna go from a high spot down to a low or vice versa. And then over here, you have a couple different FPV options. So it's gonna flow more freely on the gimbal. It's not gonna be locked either way, but it's still gonna stabilize those shots by using that gimbal. And there's 2 different options for that. There's FPV and FPV-V, which is actually a little bit looser than FPV. But I'm gonna go back right now to roll and tilt lock. And then you can go back to the main recording screen. And then once you're ready to start recording, you can press the record button right here, and your video is gonna start recording. And because you have that gimbal on there, it's gonna keep your shots nice and smooth. Even when you're walking or you're rotating your camera, you can see those lenses stay nice and level. And then when you're finished recording, just press the record button again. It's gonna save that video file to your storage. So those are the basics of what you need to know for recording video, but I'll give you some more filming tips later in this video. But if you are interested, I've got a great book for the Luna Ultra that's got everything you need from start to finish on really how to capture the best footage and take advantage of all the features here on Luna Ultra. And you can check that out in the link in the video description below. Thanks so much. Now I want to show you guys some of the other modes available on the Luna Ultra. So if you swipe sideways, you've also got pure video mode. This is a dedicated low light video mode that you can use at night or in low light scenes. That's really going to enhance the footage. And you can record this in 4K at 30 frames per second. Or if you want 2x slow motion, you can also go up to 60 frames per second and record slow motion clips even in low light scenes. And basically this mode is designed when you're filming at night, around neon lights or in cities. This is just really going to enhance the footage using the triple AI processing chips here on the Luna Ultra, just to make your shots stand out and allow you to record anytime, day or night. Next, you have a dedicated slow motion mode. That's just going to be using those higher frame rates that are also available in video mode, but it'll play them back in slow motion here on the touchscreen. And also it's not going to record audio because they're intended to play back in slow motion where the audio wouldn't really work. Next, you've got time-lapse mode, which can be recorded in up to 4K. And those are going to be great for those stationary scenes, nature scenes, or city scenes where you want time to be sped up. And it creates a really cool cinematic effect you can add into your videos. There's also a time shift mode, which is made for hyperlapses. So if you want to carry the camera around, it's going to create a moving hyperlapse basically. And it's got stabilization, so you can carry the camera with you to create some really cool effects as you move through nature or city scenes. It's just going to speed it up and make it look like you're zooming through those places. And that can also be recorded in 4K. You also have pano photo, which is going to take a series of photos at every different orientation to create a full 360-degree photo. So it's gonna be a large 360 photo that's really high resolution. You've also got single photos, and this mode is really underrated here on the Luna Ultra. Because of that zoom and the autofocus, you can get some really creative 37 megapixel photos here on the Luna Ultra. And you'll see you can take it in standard or ultra photo, and you can also take raw photos. So it's actually a really good photo taking camera, which is surprising because you typically think of it as a video camera. So you can zoom in, you can select your photo, you can get blurred out backgrounds, and you can really get some nice photos. And then let me show you a few of the general settings here. If you swipe down from the screen here, on the dashboard, there's 4 different screens here. These dashboard options might vary slightly depending on which firmware version is out right now. You've got 4 different display screens. Over here is your storage, where you can format your microSD card or your internal storage. If you swipe this way, you've got a few little dashboard icons, such as screen brightness, or you can flip the orientation here. If you want to shoot in landscape or portrait, you can lock those. You've also got an auto switch option. And then if you go into the general settings here, there's quite a few different options for your general camera settings. One that I want to show you guys right here that I think you should adjust is the video bit rate. And that's the amount of data that's transferred when you record your videos. I recommend just switching that over to high to get the highest quality videos. And this is where you can also adjust things like zoom speed, for example. And then over on this screen, you have some audio settings for the in-camera audio, and you can also create a separate audio track if you'd like to. And right here is the settings for the wireless mics. So you can connect up to 2 Insta360 Mic Pros or other wireless mics, but the Mic Pro works really good with this camera. And the last screen, you just have some accessories you can add, such as Bluetooth accessories, or use gesture control to start and stop recording. Also, because I record mostly horizontal videos, I'm just gonna turn this setting back so the camera will power off when I flip the screen, just like that. And now when I am done, I can just flip the screen and it's gonna power off. And when you're done, you can flip the screen to turn it off if you have that setting selected, or you can just hold down here on the power button and the gimbal is gonna go to sleep. Also, if you do need an additional live preview besides that detachable remote, you can also connect to the Insta360 app for a live preview through your camera's lens, and you can change all of the settings right there in the Insta360 app. So that works as another detachable remote, basically. You can change all the different modes and settings, start and stop recording, and obviously go view your photos and videos that you've recorded. Now I just want to quickly show you guys some of the mounting and also some of the accessories available for the Luna Ultra, so you can know what other kind of things are available for it. First of all, the Luna Ultra does not have any mounting components on the bottom of the camera. And that's primarily because this is designed to be a handheld camera that you're going to hold while you film and get intentional shots like that. However, there are some ways you can mount Luna Ultra, and you just need to use the right things. So I'm going to show you what to do. If you do want to mount your camera, the easiest thing to do is just use this little adapter that came with your camera, and it's got a 1/4-20" thread on the bottom here. And all you need to do, like I showed you before, is just snap that in place. And now your Luna Ultra has a mounting component on the bottom that you can attach to a tripod stud. What's also nice about this, it adds more length to the handle. So when you're holding it, it's easier to have your thumb in the right position to use this little joystick or the start and stop button. On the bottom of this, there's some little metal tripod feet, basically. So it can brace the camera. If you want to set it down in a stationary position, you can set the camera just like that. It's not super stable, so I wouldn't do it in high wind environments, but it does provide a little more of a base so you can set down Luna Ultra and let it track you while you walk around and film. So now that you have this little mounting thread here, you can actually attach it to a mount. Like this is an Insta360 invisible selfie stick, and you can just screw it on there. So now you can just have it on a pole like this, and it's got more distance so you can get a better perspective of yourself while you're filming. And if you bought the creator kit, this little power adapter here attaches just like that other adapter. You can attach it just like that. It's also got the tripod stud and the little base on it. But that's going to give you extra battery life when you're using your camera. And if you end up filming a lot of self-portrait shots and low light scenes, you can add on this little fill light, and it mounts right to the base of the gimbal here and also fits right on the back here. So it's really integrates well. And that extra fill light's really going to add to your low light shots and really just kind of fill in the shadows and make them look a lot better. And I'll put a link to all these accessories in the video description below in case any of them ring out to you. There's also a variety of filters available you can use with the Luna Ultra. And because the Luna Ultra has this mechanical gimbal, you can actually film at lower shutter speeds in low light scenes and get that motion blur. Insta360 has some ND filters that just snap on magnetically on the front of Luna Ultra. That's going to reduce the amount of light coming into the lens so you can keep those lower shutter speeds even in bright light. And it comes in a set of 3 ND filters just like that. Also, if you're looking for a wider field of view, the creator kit came with this wide angle lens, or you can buy it additionally, but that gives you a 15mm field of view. And also if you want to use 1 or 2 Insta360 Mic Pros to get better audio, you can do that too. Just make sure the Mic Pro is in pairing mode, and then you can go on the touch screen here to where it says wireless mic, tap on that, and you can tap to connect the microphone. And then no matter where your camera is, you can get consistent clear audio using the Mic Pro. There's also some other accessories that allow you to mount it to a bike handlebar or your chest, for example. But just be forewarned, the Luna Ultra is not an action camera. It's not made for hard falls. That mechanical gimbal is a bit sensitive, so you definitely don't want to have hard knocks to it because that can damage it. But when you can take advantage of that gimbal in a nice safe environment, you can get some really good footage with it. Also, the Luna Ultra is not a waterproof camera, so if you're planning on filming in the water, you might want to pick up a 360 or an action camera. This is not designed for in the water filming, although somebody will probably come out with a dive case for it, but it's definitely not designed to go in the water like this. Now that you guys know your way around the Insta360 Luna Ultra, I want to give you some filming tips so you can get the best shots possible when you're out there filming. My first tip is to shoot with intention. Because this camera has autofocus, different focal lengths, and this smooth mechanical gimbal, I feel like shooting with intention is going to really improve your footage. So go out and compose your shot and try to get what you want to capture by selecting the focal length and selecting the autofocus by tapping on the screen. And make sure if you have something close to the lens that that's in focus, not the background. Next, once you've got your shot framed, start recording and try to create smooth movements with the camera. Because it's on a gimbal, you can move that camera smoothly and get shots that look really unique and really creative. Also, take advantage of the deep track features so you can track your subject, because that's gonna make it really easy, especially if you're filming yourself. You can just set your camera down, walk around and start filming. It's gonna follow you throughout the shot. That's pretty cool how it can do that. And the last filming tip you might not think of is actually try taking some photos with this thing. You can get some really good photos at 37 megapixels. And with that zoom and the autofocus, you can really get some nice blurred out backgrounds. And I think you'll be pretty impressed with the photos you can take with this camera. Now get out there and film some clips, and when you come back, I'm gonna show you how to transfer it over to your phone, tablet, or a computer. Now that you've recorded some videos, if you wanna transfer them over to a phone or a tablet, you can use the Insta360 app. Just reconnect your camera and go into the media library. And you're gonna see a thumbnail of all the shots that you've recorded here on the Insta360 Luna Ultra. You can do some edits right there in the Insta360 app, use some of their templates, or you can export it to your photo library to edit it with any video editor that you prefer. It just creates a regular MP4 video file that you can use in any video editor. If you're editing on a computer, you can either remove the microSD card and put it in a slot if you have one, or just connect the camera using a USB-C cable, power it on, and then you can drag the files from your storage on your camera over to a folder on your computer. Then you can start to get really creative, put that footage together, and make a beautiful video. It's been an honor being your guide today, teaching you how to use the Insta360 Luna Ultra. I hope you guys found that helpful and got off to a good start. Also, my book for the Luna Ultra will take you from beginner to pro, so you can get all of these cinematic techniques. I know there's a lot to learn here, so those are all covered in that book. Also, you can pick up the Luna Ultra in my link in the video description below and get some extra bonuses using my link. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.